Hey, I'm Aja A, and welcome to Sunshine Haze. Don't forget to check out all the links that I have listed down in the description box, and if you like the video, please give me a little thumbs up. If you have any questions after the video is over, feel free to drop them down below. I try to respond to everyone. And if you all know people interested in astrology, numerology, tarot, or whatever I'm talking about on this channel, go on and send them this link. And don't forget to hit subscribe. And of course, thanks for tuning in and rocking with me. May this info help y'all live your best lives. Peace. Hey y'all, welcome back. This time around it is not, I'm Aja A. Welcome to SunshinehazeCo. This time around, this is not a moon video. This is probably not a video that y'all are excited to see. This is the Mercury Retrograde video for Pisces, the first Mercury Retrograde of 2020, the first Mercury Retrograde of the decade, okay? So we're just gonna kick right into it. So for those of you guys that don't really know too much about, retrogrades and this astrology stuff, a retrograde is an optical illusion. It's when a planet appears as if it's moving backwards. However, that's not necessarily what's going on. So when a planet stations, it's called stationing retrograde, and passes over degrees that it's already passed over, it's previously passed over. So during this time, the energy that is lent, and people when they hear retrograde period, they're like, oh my gosh, everything's about to be crazy, and sometimes it can be, but what the retrograde energy really brings in is this opportunity to reflect and correct on the things that these planets are governing, these aspects of our lives that the planets govern. So this is a Mercury retrograde. Mercury governs communication, travel, specifically short-term travel or short distances, also intellect, our perspective, and Mercury also, interestingly enough, has a lot to do with our sibling and cousin relationships, like our close family friend relationships, so to speak. Like your siblings are kind of like your friends, your cousins are like your friends. Excuse me. So this retrograde, this first Mercury retrograde, is in a water sign. It's in the sign of Pisces, which is the two little fishies with the tails tied together, swimming in different and opposite directions. So with that being said, this Mercury retrograde is going to bring in a lot of, the best way to put it is psychedelic energy. We're really going to be, tossed and lost in the sauce, okay? So the retrograde starts on February 17th or 16th or 18th when I was doing my research, but I mostly came up with the 17th, but either the day before, the day after, depending on where you are in the world, I believe. Going through March 10th or the 9th or the 11th, but I've got the 17th through March 10th. Starting in 12 degrees of Pisces, ending in 28 degrees of Aquarius. So just briefly to tell you guys a little bit about Pisces, I love Pisces energy. I love Pisces people, but they also are people that, they really take a lot of my energy. But that's because Pisces is associated with spirituality, associated with the unknown. Pisces is associated with creativity and with love and intuition and with dreams. So Pisces is a very dreamy energy. So Mercury entered Pisces around the 3rd of this month. So that's kind of when the collective energy moved into the space of where we started to feel a little less concerned with the details, and started just kind of going with the currents, going with the flow. So you may have felt like, in these past couple of weeks that, things that you feel like you should be working on, you haven't really been putting too much energy into, and you know that you should, but you're kind of just like, oh, well, I'll get around to it. I feel like doing this. I feel like taking a nap. I feel like doing, I feel like chilling. Big Pisces energy, taking a nap. That's actually, I joke around and say that, but that is actually one of the energies that comes along with this retrograde, is just being very tired and very sleepy. And what that has to do with, depending on what you believe in, and this is part of my belief system, is that I feel like when we sleep, when we dream, that we are doing work in the spiritual realm, we're doing work in the etheric realm. So with this Pisces, this dreamy Pisces, this unknown between worlds energy coming in with this retrograde to reflect and correct, I feel like there's a lot of heaviness in regards to sleepiness coming in, so that we can do work that we need to do in the subconscious in order to manifest the things that need to manifest in the physical. So a lot of us will feel a lot of sleepiness, feeling like we're tired for the next month and a little bit into the shadow period, and probably have already started to feel that. I definitely have. I planned on recording these videos yesterday, and I got up around So I think I got up around like 8 and I was like, yeah, I walked Chelsea and I was like, I'm going back to bed. Yeah. I don't even, you know what? I didn't even think I walked Chelsea. I think I told her she was going to have to go to the bathroom on the patio. That I would get to it later because I was going back to sleep. So you're actually going to be feeling that energy during this next month underneath the Pisces retrograde. And that's because you've got dream work to do. For those of you that actually are into that. And for those of you that aren't, if that sparked a little bit of interest, start doing some research. I think you'll be pretty intrigued with what you come up with. So then Mercury started to slow down on the 10th, and that's when we really started to feel like literally like there are, like the water's been spiked, like we're in these currents and somebody put some drugs in it and we're just kind of floating, but we're soaking in this energy. So really just feeling like you were floating at sea, don't really know what's over there, don't know what's over there, don't really know where you're floating to, but you're like, this is cool, this is nice, this is whatever, you know. Big Pisces energy again. So, you know, main points with this retrograde, the first one that I have here, it has to do with intuition, as I was talking about reflecting and correcting. So with this Pisces being a very spiritual energy, an energy associated with intuition, especially going along with, you know, the full moon in Leo that we just had and being underneath the Aquarius energy as far as the collective goes, we're going to be feeling pulled to come into alignment with, excuse me, come into alignment with our true place in the world, come into alignment with, you know, how to get to where we truly need to be, where we feel like our true purpose is, where we feel like our heart's desire resides. So this retrograde energy, again, reflect and correct. So whatever you are not doing, whatever you haven't been into or mixing and mingling with, that will definitely help push you into this next chapter, push you into this position that you need to be in. These things are going to start to become clear and start to become evident to you during this next month. Now, with it being retrograde energy, I would say you don't have to necessarily make big moves, especially with the Pisces, because things can get kind of lost in the waters and lost in confusion, and then the next thing you know, you're like, oh, I don't even know what this is. So, you know, get the knowledge, and then as we come out of the retrograde, start to actually manifest and intend these things and work on them in the physical. Just be mindful of anything that you start in the retrograde period. That's all I'm gonna say to you guys. Also, okay, so this one, I was like, okay, I'm excited to talk about this one. So with this Pisces energy and this retrograde energy and this Mercury governing our intellect, and intellect goes hand in hand with our dreams, our minds, right? There's gonna be some unexplained things happening. Kind of like some of you are gonna be experiencing what you consider deja vu, and some of you who are a little bit more hip or really into the shits are gonna be, you know, like, you know, dealing with the energy of timelines merging, possibly having glimpses into, you know, alternate realities or parallel universes if you really want to get into it. For example, this is an example of the Pisces Mercury retrograde energy. I work at an airport. So there are hella break rooms, and all the break rooms have different codes to get into the break room. There are 2 break rooms that have the same numbers but a different sequence. So I do it all the time. I put in the sequence for the other one trying to get into this one, right? The other morning, I go up to the door and I start to put in the wrong sequence. And at the first number, I'm like, oh shit, I'm putting in the wrong one. And I go, well, I got to put in the rest of the numbers in order for me to try the new one. So I put it in incorrectly, the code that gets me into the other break rooms, and I turn the handle to reset it, and the door opens. And so I open it, and I'm like, that's weird. Like, that's really weird. As I walk into the door, the best way I can explain it is like I felt like I was like walking onto a cloud, and like the rest of my day felt like that until it was time for me to clock out. So I go to clock out in the same break room, and something tells me, it's like, try this code again and see if you get into the break room. So I intentionally put in the wrong code, the code for the other one, put it in the wrong way, turn the handle. And this time I'm expecting to get in because it worked that morning. And so for a minute I was like, well, maybe they changed the code to the other break room and now they're all just the same code, right? No. So I turn the handle and the door doesn't open. So I'm like, okay, still feeling like I'm on a cloud at this point. I put in the correct break room code, turn the handle, the door opens, and when I walked through the door that time, like, and literally I just felt like I was no longer walking on a cloud. I walked over, I punched out, and I remember walking out the break room like, what kind of Twilight Zone ass shit what kind of Twilight Zone ass day did I just have? And like nothing weird happened throughout that. Actually, I think that was the day where I met like 3 people with the same birthday, or like a birthday the day before mine. So it was a very interesting day, so to speak, and that is very Pisces. None of it makes sense, but in the grand scheme of things, on a subconscious level, some sort of energy exchange I was dealing with on that day had something to do with me progressing forward into my next chapter. And those are the types of things that are going to be happening. And it's going to be a lot of like, what did I just experience? Nothing necessarily negative, but very dreamy, very otherworldly, very like, you know, this is so interesting. Very small instances that'll have you think for a minute like, okay, what's going on here? And then you go on about your day. Very Pisces. So, you know, I did just want to put that energy out there, especially for those of y'all that are into the shits like me. So very dreamy, very, you know, we're just moving through the motions, and as the motions play out, some of these things don't make sense, but don't worry, they'll make sense in the long run, I suppose. Also, with Pisces carrying a very creative and a very passionate energy, this retrograde period is going to be a time for us to reflect and correct in regards to the things that make us happy, the things that we feel good about. If you guys have watched my videos, I say a lot, the things that make our heart beat. So we're getting ready, we're actually getting to a point to where we can slow down and get creative in the things that we do, and also in the way that we make our moves in regards to getting onto and proceeding down the path that we need to be on to, again, put ourselves into alignment with our true purpose, with our true place in the world, okay? So before Mercury goes direct, you have this time to think about these things. It's time to think about what you can do to get here, what you can work on to get here, what you can bring into your energy, into your life in order to put you into this position. So that way when when Mercury stations direct, you're actually able to manifest these things in the physical and see them play out in the physical for yourselves, okay? Very quickly, because it is Mercury retrograde, I do have to put the warning signs out. Technology, with it being Pisces, I wouldn't be surprised if you start losing a lot of your things. So for those of you that are really into technology and you got like Apple products, or I don't know what Samsung has, but turn on your like find your phone, find your devices, because with Pisces and this dreamy energy, things can get lost in translation. Also, as far as information goes, like in emails that you send out, you could send an email and it could literally be you type something, for real type something, and it comes on the other end typed in a completely different way, or like kind of like jumbled or things of that sort. So just be mindful of that. And when it happens, don't get freaked out, don't get weirded out. Just know that that is Mercury retrograde Pisces energy playing with our technology, okay? I would also back up your information, back up your work, and also screen protectors, things of that sort. Put your things in bags, put your glasses. This is what happened to me last retrograde. I have a bad habit of not putting my glasses back in the case. And it really was my eyesight, but for the longest, I thought it was my glasses, because when I took them off, I saw that the lens was scratched, and it was the lens. And then I went to go get my eyes checked, because I was like, well, when I take my glasses off, it still looks the same. Got my eyes checked, and they were like, yeah, you need a new prescription anyway. So, but like, put your glasses in the case, put screen protectors on your phone, put those little like silicone cases around your like iPads and your laptops and things of that sort. If you're mailing things, make sure that your things are packaged very safely, you know, packaging peanuts, bubble wrap, things of that sort. Just little things like that. Mercury can come in and fuck shit up as far as that is concerned. As far as communication is concerned, as I was talking about, like with your emails and stuff, that can get lost in translation. So just be mindful, like if you're leaving voicemails or sending memos. This happened with me this morning with my friend. I sent her a memo yesterday, and it goes in and out, and it's because I use the AirPods, but it went in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And like, sometimes, usually when I send memos, the beginning of it is like that, and then the rest of it is good until like I get ready to close it out. So Mercury retrograde things, just be mindful of things like that, and just know that anything that you're trying to communicate during this time, it does have the possibility of getting a little jumbled or getting lost in translation, so to speak. With that being said, the retrograde doesn't have to be a negative time. The energy lent is really to reflect and correct, and just keep in mind that, you know, your words and your thoughts are very powerful. So if you're thinking that the retrograde is going to come in and fuck shit up, that's what it's going to do for you. But if you're thinking that you're going to use this retrograde period to reflect and correct on the things by way of Pisces and by way of what Mercury governs, then that is what's going to be happening for you over this retrograde period, okay? My stomach is growling, and all I can think about is like frying some bacon. Like, I am hungry, but I really wanted to get this video recorded before I started to do all of that. But I just want y'all to know, I don't know if you could hear it, but my stomach is growling and I want some bacon. Briefly, this retrograde is ending in Aquarius, so you know, as far as we're reflecting and correcting in regards to Pisces, we're also applying that to how we mix and mingle with the collective, figuring out what works for us, and then putting out the energy that, hey, everybody, this is what works for me, this is what it is, so therefore it has to work for you. It is what it is, you know? Quickly, and it's gonna be quick, as y'all heard, I'm ready to go fry some bacon. I'm gonna make more than bacon, but I really want some bacon. The retrograde starts in 12 degrees. So we have the energy of 1, which is manifestation, independence, new chapters, and the energy of 2, which is bringing things together in harmony and balance and peace, which breaks down into 3, which is, again, a number of manifestation and beginning to lay the foundation for what is to come. So this retrograde is helping us reflect and correct and get clear insight into how we need to take our steps, how we need to lay our foundation, so that the future that we want to see play out happens to do so for us as we make these moves. Excuse me. And with it being Pisces, with that being said, the currents of this Pisces water will carry us to these points, to these places, through this retrograde energy. It's ending in 28 degrees of Aquarius, so you've got this energy of 2 again, harmony, balance, peace, bringing things together, and then the energy of 8, which is infinity, cycles, and karma, and also growth. This number breaks down to 10, which is 1, again, manifestation and new cycles and independence, amplified by 0, which also carries this energy of cycles too. And so it's what we're learning by way of the Pisces Mercury retrograde will help us maneuver with our new aligned energies within ourselves, and also as we function within the collective by way of that Aquarius energy. Sorry, I heard something outside, and apparently I can't multitask today. Like, this Pisces energy, I really have been lost at sea, guys. I have a lot of water in my chart. With that being said, people with a lot of water in their charts, specifically a lot of Pisces energy, your personal planet, specifically your Mercury. If you have a lot of Mercury aspects in your chart, or like a strong Mercury placement, this retrograde is going to affect you. If you've got a lot of 12 or 28 degree placements in your chart, and also Pisces is mutable, so if you have a lot of mutable aspects in your chart as well, you will feel, as far as the things that Mercury governs, or as far as the things that wherever those placements are in your chart, those energies, you'll feel these changes, you'll feel these pulls and these energies in those aspects, okay? Excuse me. Again, this retrograde is not a negative time. It's all about the way that you think about things and the way that you do, or the things that you do with what you think about. It's already starting, guys. Oh my gosh. As far as this retrograde is concerned, it is connected to spirituality and how we're feeling in regards to our place in the world and what we're doing. So, you know, as this retrograde comes in, you're going to be reflecting and correcting, and also getting new creative ways to make these moves to live your best life, as I always say, okay? Good time to do, you know, manifestations. Let me hurry up and finish this video, y'all. Manifestations. I should coin that. Meditations. I think. Listen, any one of y'all come out with my shit, I'm suing you. Good stones to what you should do. This is a good time to do meditations regarding, you know, clarity, regarding spirituality, regarding connecting with spirit, the higher self, love, creativity, your artistic abilities. Good stones to work with. Pisces stones. What are some Pisces stones? I have one up. Fluorite is a Pisces stone. I believe aquamarine. I want to say Amazonite, maybe. Do some research, find some Pisces stones. I'll in the Mercury Retrograde tarot readings, I'll put up some Pisces stones, and I'll tell you guys about the Pisces stones, because I don't know off the top of my head, and I don't have that notebook in front of me. Also protective stones as well, and stones that really help with electromagnetic stress, that really absorb that and transmute that. And then also that's it for the retrograde here. This is just my plugs. Watch my 2020 tarot forecast and the Mercury retrograde forecast that I just mentioned. I also did put out, or will be putting out, Valentine's Day pick a card readings for the couples and the singles, and that's really it that's going on right now. I've been feeling the Mercury retrograde energy, so I've been a little quiet for a minute, but I'm back. Hey, here I am. Here's all the energies. Here's all the informations. I do hope that provided y'all with some insight on how to maneuver through this next month. And it's a short period, you guys. Remember that it's ending on the 10th of March, so we really only have a month of this crazy energy and like a week or so of the shadow period, and then we're Gucci, we're good. Thank you guys for watching. I will catch y'all next time. Peace.